This is the most I've enjoyed an episode of the show since episode 3. Perhaps the most I've enjoyed this show, period. Let's talk about why. G'day, welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel, and my review and discussion of the 8th and penultimate episode of She-Hulk, Ribbit and Ribbit. And as I didn't do one of these last week, I'll probably touch on the 7th episode as well. Ribbit and Ribbit was directed by Kat Coiro. I'm filming this a little late, so I'm able to say that in my opinion, Marvel are having a really good week this week. Between this episode of She-Hulk and Werewolf by Night's special feature, they're pulling out some of the good stuff. Spoilers, I guess, but most of this is all over social media at this point. We got Daredevil. But equally, and probably more importantly, we got a really fun episode where we got superhero action, we got big movement on the plot, but we also got what was actually sold to us in this show, and that is to see She-Hulk being a lawyer. I thoroughly enjoyed myself with this episode, and as I said up top, I don't think I've been able to say that since episode 3. Was it corny? Yes, but to me it was corny in all the best ways. But your mileage may vary. Did it have action? Absolutely. Did they use Daredevil without completely undercutting the character? I think so, but likewise, your mileage may vary. Did we finally, with one episode left to go, get some forward momentum on the plot? Yes. Yes, we did. And also, look at that. While she's far, far from as out of control as Bruce on a rampage, she can Hulk out. Although, to be fair, most non-Hulks would lose their cool in that situation as well. It's just that we can't destroy the landscape while we're at it. When I first heard about the show, I understood that it was going to be a lawyer show and not a typical Marvel superhero show. But then the cases haven't been what I expected. Hell, with Jen's love life, a wedding episode, and a spiritual retreat episode, the cases didn't even take center stage. So forgive me that when we get a far more conventional superhero episode, I'm cheering for it. And I even thought the case itself, short as it was more fun than most of the cases we've seen Jen take. Was it simplistic? Yes. But at least it was a case that involved a superhero. Or at least a rich kid superhero wannabe. Matt Murdock was unsurprisingly shown as a very competent lawyer. And with the added advantage of his enhanced sense of smell and Leapfrog's sheer stupidity, he wins the case very quickly against Jen. What I forgot to mention is that the person that Matt was defending in that suit was the superhero tailor Luke Jacobs, who very flamboyantly tore up Jen's dress he was working on and said that he hated her when she announced there was a possibility of a case against him. As we saw in episode 5, Daredevil is one of Luke's clients, so Matt had a personal stake in defending him, especially when Jen asked for his client list. We also get some wider MCU world building in this episode, because during the court case, we find out that the Sokovia Accords have been repealed, and I don't believe that's been said anywhere else. Matt joins Jen at a regular watering hole after the case, and he winds up giving her a pep talk about being both a lawyer and a superhero before they both get called away. Jen goes to meet with a client, but that client happens to be Todd. You know, the guy in the terrible date scene from episode 4 that called her a specimen. This scene was all kinds of cringe, from boasting about questionably obtained artifacts and trying to get She-Hulk into bed. He's a bad guy, but I'm also wondering if he's the bad guy. There's a strong argument to be made that it's the leader behind the intelligentsia plot, especially with his presence in Captain America coming up. However, with only one episode to go, would you really introduce a major character like that? This guy has already called her a specimen. It could be a misdirect, but I really think it could be him. You know, they aren't exactly subtle in this show. You know, look at the plot twist from last week, that the perfect date was actually part of the intelligentsia. But on that, I'm glad that that particular plot thread got picked up in a way I did not expect this week. I liked the way they used it at the awards dinner. I mean, it sucks for her. It's terrible. But it's an awesome way to totally devastate a protagonist and move the plot forward. Working our way back from the awards dinner to the aftermath of that awkward dinner with Todd, She-Hulk goes to sleep on the couch and then gets a call from Leapfrog saying that he's in danger. She-Hulk rescues him from a man dressed as a devil, so we know that there's something up even before Daredevil explains to Jen that Leapfrog has kidnapped Luke. they don't waste any time here with She-Hulk figuring out who Daredevil is. I mean, Matt holds his own, but he's no Hulk. She stuns him and removes his mask. The two of them then team up to take on Leapfrog and his henchmen. I mean goons. In way less than 30 minutes. At least I think that math stacks up. As with everyone else, I do like a good hallway scene. Especially a good Daredevil hallway scene. And really, Leapfrog and the Tadpoles aren't a match for either She-Hulk or Daredevil, let alone the pair of them together. We've already touched on what happens in the awards dinner, so that just leaves what Jen called the satisfying conclusion. I don't know where
Captain America,
but apparently She-Hulk does. If you've stuck around this long, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's continue the discussion about this episode of She-Hulk down in the comments. Look, in upcoming news, I'm going to release a review discussion of Werewolf by Night tomorrow night. And spoiler alert, I loved it. Next week, the intent is to release an Andor review and a wrap-up of the second half of Rings of Power. This is the Nerdy Dad, signing off.